What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing well. We are back on WUG, and a suggestion from my boy Sum. He told me to go pick up this Aston Martin DBR9, and honestly, when he told me about that, I was like, man, I haven't driven this car in years, and this used to be a favorite of mine. Test driving it out using a spreadsheet tune. If you don't know what the spreadsheet tune is, WUG does have a tuning guide where they give you all the colors of parts, so I usually use that. We driving this DBR9, it feels like the way it used to, just nice and grippy. It might be better than M3 GTR, don't really know. I do remember back in the day, this was essentially a nicer driving C6R. Because C6R, if you remember from back in the day, had crazy turning radius, but it had a slow delay. And this car basically mitigated all of that. And it's just super nice. And let's see how it does in a race. So we starting off against a Gallardo, which, man, a Gallardo, you want to be wondering, what on earth is this car doing here? Well, this is WUG. You know, the game's different. Things have been retuned. The Gallardo is no longer the boat it used to be back when this car was first released. Aston is doing great in the corner so far, however, that Gallardo, man, Gallardo really be on my tail. As I was mentioning, the thing is that all the GT cars kind of drive the same, so oh man, why why did I do that? Honestly, I was driving too fast for me to react, and that was on me. Let's see if the Aston has what it takes to get back into the lead. I do have confidence in this car because this is kind of a technical-ish track, so we should be fine. However, on these straights, we are going to struggle because we're capped at 194, which is awful. Absolutely awful. Now, I've never driven the C6R in a while after it's retuned, so I don't know how it is. And look at that, we're back up against the Gallardo. Come on, Aston, just keep pushing. We got this. The M3 GTR and the Aston, they kind of do drive the same. I'm not gonna lie, they do feel exactly the same in some aspects. It's a GT car, so I mean, I guess the devs decided to just make them all drive similar to one another. So it's really hard for me to compare it to the M3 GTR. I think the M3 GTR, I just feel more confident driving it just because, you know, that's a car that it's one of my top cars in this game. And the Gallardo, mans is trying to not be in second. Let's keep going. Not gonna need to power up. Not really a power up dude. And also in this car, it doesn't make any sense to use power ups because it has weak NOS. This is basically better for no PU tracks. However, in terms of no PU tracks tend to be no collision tracks, and I don't like no collision tracks. This type of racing right here, this is the type of racing that I live for, you know? I will not make the same mistake as the first lap. Yes, I will not. But this is the type of racing that I'm all about. With some contact, people aren't being too crazy, and oof, that Cayenne really destroyed me right there. That is not nice whatsoever. Make that tight little turn. Took a little bit too much speed by hitting that speed limit sign. Let's see what the Aston got. Oof, it's not great with bumps. I should have just. I really actually had a lot more time to react. I reacted way too early and way too swift. Come on, Aston. We got the corners, which we're just better at. We're inching closer. We had 94%. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Oh, Taxi Cab helped me out right there for the dub. Am I gonna win? Let's go. Don't mess up. We got one more turn and we did it. Aston, great job. That was a great win. GG to Gallardo, because that was a pretty tough man. That man went over 220. That man was 30 miles an hour faster than I was. You know how insane that is? We up against Carroll in the Audi R8. Yeah, this is a highway-based track. We are probably not going to do well. As you can see, I'm already capped out. The Audi goes 223 from the experience of my Audi R8. So this is going to be quite interesting. If I can just even hang on. Can I even hang on? I don't know. All I can see is that the distance is getting further and further and further. That was not a great job. Okay. Alright. This car... Okay, the M3 GTR is better. Like, after that turn... I don't know the way I took the angle, but I'm pretty sure the M3 GTR would have been completely fine if I did that right there. This might have better acceleration than M3 GTR. However, yeah, nah. As I'm driving it more and more, and I took the wrong turn. That's just wonderful. Yeah, the M3 GTR does handle better than this thing. They drive very similar though, so it's hard to tell. However, I do like the handling a little bit better on M3 GTR. Yeah, Carroll just absolutely demolished us. We couldn't do nothing about it. That's just the reality of things, man. You just can't do nothing about it sometimes. You just gotta just accept the L. Shout out to the R8 though. Like, that car, great car for Team Escapes, and I guess for highway tracks too. Let's see how fast. Yeah, man went 220. Oh, that wasn't on an R8 5.2. That was a Le Mans Quattro. We in an environment where we should never ever take this car, and what on earth happened to him? I'm so sorry. I did not mean to slam you into rhinos. And oh, seems like the DBR9 wants to put on some muscle. And what on earth is that? That's a 911 GT2 cop car. I had no idea this was in the game. A 911 GT2 cop car. Oh, so I guess the previous update also added brand new cop cars, which is cool. That's actually really cool. It's one of those things where it's like, you would think that they would have been OG World, but shout out to the WUG team, man. Pacing really well with that Panamera. Panamera just flew that cop. I feel bad for this guy though, because I can't really ram anything or anyone, even with Jug. I don't have any. I realize how useless Jug is low-key when you don't have any skill mods, because it just lasts for so short. Like, it's kind of pointless in a way. It's like a, instead of actually being like a battering ram, it's more like a quick little ram. Let's go. And Aston, what are you doing? Bro, what is this, man? We all the way back here? That's nuts. If I remember, that Panamera was actually a great car for Team Escape. Sadly, the car itself, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. Okay, it doesn't look great. However, it even though it doesn't look great, it can look not bad. Like this, the preset for the Team Escape edition looks awful in my opinion. There's just no other way to put it. I think the model in this game doesn't do it justice because I've seen the Panamera in real life, and in real life they look better. However, I don't think any game has really taken the time to try to even make it more better looking, where, for example, like some car models, they might just stretch out some things, change the proportions a little bit to make it look nicer. Well, it's not really from that, but it's more like, that's more like the modeling thing. However, you know, in certain aspects, you can change cars a little bit to make it look a little bit better than how it looks. However, I don't think I've ever seen a racing game done this car justice. Probably most want in 2012. That car looked okay, but honestly, I have PTSD from that car because that car is the reason why I couldn't 100% the game. It's a very true story. And honestly, if you're here at this point in the video listening to me about the story, you're a goat. You're a goat for that. But yeah, with that story, I could not complete the first race for the Panamera because at the second lap, the game used to always crash. And that was kind of the end of that. I had 99%, just needed that one race and probably get the pro versions of the NOS. But yeah, that was literally 13 years ago, so it is what it is, and I would never. That was the closest chance for me to ever 100% a game, and it will never happen with the circumstances of my life. And this Aston surprisingly finished pretty well. I mean, there wasn't really any cops spawning on my end, and I wasn't really ramming. That's a Viper and a Gallardo cop. That is so cool. That is really, really cool. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this car, and I'll catch y'all later.
Repeat, code 4. Drivers arrested. We're slowing down cover.